What is going on, everybody? Nick Costa here, and welcome to this video lesson on the single Ratamacue. This is rudiment number 38 from the Percussive Arts Society's Essential Rudiments. If you've been following the Drum Essentials section of nickcostamusic.com, this is video number 9. So in this lesson, you are going to learn how to play the single Ratamacue. You're then going to play through a few exercises that allows you to incorporate it into your playing. Finally, you will see some examples on how to incorporate it into your drum set playing. Excited to get into this with all of you, so let's get started. So let's talk about that single Ratamacue for a second. It is a 4-note sticking that is in a triplet subdivision. So if we are in 4/4 time, and you wanted to play this Ratamacue as an 8th note triplet subdivision, you would have 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4. Now to turn this into a Ratamacue, you want to play a drag for the first note. You then want to accent the 4th note. So if you are playing a right-handed Ratamacue, it starts out with a right-handed drag followed by 3 additional notes. Notice at that very last note I accented. It's the same concept with a left-handed single Ratamacue. Play a left-handed drag followed by 3 additional notes. So for this first exercise, you are going to play the single Ratamacue in an 8th note triplet subdivision. So for the first 2 measures, you are going to play a right-handed single Ratamacue followed by 2 beats of rest. For the 3rd and 4th measure, you're going to play a left-handed Ratamacue followed by 2 beats of rest. We're going to turn the click on at 80 BPM. Play along with me. 1, 2, ready, and... Now, if you are just getting started with playing the Ratamacue, don't worry about that accent at the end. Focus in on the sticking and the rhythm of it. Once you get more comfortable with it, then add that accent at the end. Let's go ahead and move on to exercise number 2. You're going to continue to play the Ratamacue in an 8th note triplet subdivision. The difference this time is that you're going to play 2 of them back to back without stopping. So for this first measure, play 2 right-handed Ratamacues. You're then going to rest for the second measure. For the 3rd measure, play 2 left-handed Ratamacues, and then rest for the 4th measure. Clicks going back on, play along with me. 1, 2, ready, and... Let's move on to exercise number 3. You're now going to focus on playing the Ratamacue as a 16th note triplet subdivision. This is also how the Ratamacue is written out from the Percussive Arts Society. So for this first measure, you're going to play a single Ratamacue on beat 1, rest on beat 2, play a right-handed single Ratamacue again on beat 3, rest on beat 4. For the second measure, you're going to just do it all with the left hand. So a left-handed single Ratamacue on beat 1, rest on beat 2, another left-handed Ratamacue on beat 3, and rest on beat 4. Keep that click at 80 BPM. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, ready, and... Moving on to exercise number 4. Stick with the Ratamacue in a 16th note triplet subdivision. Difference this time is that you are going to play 4 Ratamacues in a row. So for the first measure, you are going to play 2 right-handed Ratamacues for the 1st and 2nd beat. You'll then play 2 left-handed Ratamacues for the 3rd and 4th beat. You are going to rest for the 2nd measure. For the 3rd measure, you're going to do the opposite. So you're going to do 2 left-handed Ratamacues on the 1st and 2nd beat, 2 right-handed Ratamacues on the 3rd and the 4th beat. You're also going to rest for the 4th measure. Clicks going back on, play along with me. 1, 2, ready, and... Now that you have played through a few exercises to get more familiar with this pattern, this is a perfect time to pause this lesson and work on that sticking pattern. Again, you really want to make sure that you're getting the sticking pattern correctly first. Once you do that, then focus on adding that accent for the fourth note. So if you need to, pause this lesson here, and when you're ready, hit continue. Welcome back. So now let's start to incorporate the Ratamacue into our playing. So the rhythm for this exercise is, it's a Ratamacue 2, 3E and a 4. For this first measure, you're going to play a right-handed single Ratamacue on beat 1. You're then going to play a right-handed tap on beat 2. You're going to alternate your hands for the 16th notes on beat 3, followed by an additional right-handed tap on beat 4. The second measure, you're going to start with your left hand. So a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 1, a left-handed tap on beat 2. You're then going to alternate your hands for the 16th notes on beat 3, and then a left-handed tap on beat 4. I'm going to turn the click back on, play along with me. 1, 2, ready, and... Moving on to exercise number 6, you are now playing the rhythm of 1E enda, it's a Ratamacue, 3N, it's a Ratamacue. So for the first measure, you're going to alternate your hands for the 16th notes on beat 1, starting with your right hand. You're then going to play a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 2. You're then going to play a left-right for the 8th notes on beat 3, and a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 4. Second measure, you are going to start with your left hand, alternating for the 16th notes starting on beat 1. You're going to play a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 2. You're then going to play a right and a left for the 8th notes starting on beat 3. And you're going to play a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 4. I'm going to turn the click on, play along with me. 1, 2, ready, and... So you should be getting to a point where you are getting comfortable enough where you can start to add that accent. This is a perfect time to pause this lesson and work on anything that you have done so far. If you're getting more comfortable with the rhythm but having a difficult time with the accent, just slow the metronome down a little bit and try these exercises again. Once you're starting to feel a bit more comfortable with the Ratamacue and can execute that accent as well, hit continue and we'll move on to the challenge. Okay, now it is time for our challenge. So just like every other challenge, you're going to continue to incorporate this rudiment into your playing, but we're also going to reintroduce some of those rudiments we've gone over in the other videos. Now we are getting to a point where it'll be difficult to introduce every rudiment. You are, however, going to see some of them that have been introduced from those other videos. So with this challenge, we have 10 measures. And just like every other challenge, you have the opportunity to play a rhythm starting with both your right hand and your left hand. So for the first 2 measures, you are playing the rhythm of, it's a Ratamacue 2, 3E and a 4E end. For this first measure, you are playing a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 1. You are then going to play a right-handed flam on beat 2. For 3E and a 4E, play a right-handed paradiddle diddle. You're then going to play a right-handed tap on the end of 4. Second measure is the same, but left hand lead. So you're going to play a left-handed single Ratamacue on beat 1. You're then going to play a left-handed flam on beat 2. For 3E and a 4E, play a left-handed paradiddle diddle. You then will play a left-handed tap on the end of beat 4. Here's what those 2 measures sound like. It's Ratamacue 2, 3E and a 4E end. It's Ratamacue 2, 3E and a 4E end. Now for the third and the fourth measure, you are playing the rhythm of 1. It's a Ratamacue, 4E enda. So for the third measure, you are going to play a flam on beat 1. You're then going to play a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 2 and a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 3. You're then going to play a right-handed single paradiddle on beat 4. For measure 4, left-handed flam on beat 1, left-handed Ratamacue on beat 2, right-handed Ratamacue on beat 3, left-handed single paradiddle on beat 4. Here's what those 2 measures sound like. 1. It's Ratamacue, 4E enda. 1. It's Ratamacue, 4E enda. Moving on to measures 5 and 6. You are playing the rhythm of 1 and 2E end. It's a Ratamacue. So for those 8th notes on beat 1, you're playing a right-handed flam and a left-handed flam. You're going to alternate your hands for 2E end. you're going to play a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 3 and a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 4. For the 6th measure, you're playing a left-handed flam and a right-handed flam for the 8th notes on beat 1. You're then going to play left, right, left for 2E end. You're then going to play a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 3 and a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 4. Here's what those two measures sound like. 1 and 2E end. It's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue. 1 and 2E end. It's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue. Now for measures 7 and 8, this is where it gets a little fun. You are playing the rhythm of 1E and a 2E, it's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue. So for the 7th measure, you're going to play a right-handed double paradiddle. You're then going to play a right-handed Ratamacue followed by a left-handed Ratamacue. You then are going to have an 8th note rest on the end of beat 4. The 8th measure is left-hand lead. So a left-handed double paradiddle followed by a left-handed single Ratamacue and then a right-handed single Ratamacue. You also have an 8th note rest on the end of beat 4. Here's what those two measures sound like. 1E and a 2E, it's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue. 1E and a 2E, it's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue. Now for measures 9 and 10, you are playing the rhythm of it's a Ratamacue, it's a Ratamacue, it's a Ratamacue, 4. So for measure 9, you're going to play a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 1, a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 2, a right-handed Ratamacue on beat 3, and a right-handed flam on beat 4. Measure 10 is left-hand lead, so a left-handed Ratamacue on beat 1, right-handed Ratamacue on beat 2, left-handed Ratamacue on beat 3, and a left-handed flam on beat 4. Here's what those two measures sound like together. It's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue, 4. It's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue, it's Ratamacue, 4. So now that we've had the chance to go over all of the patterns, let's put it all together. But this is a challenge, right? So let's up that metronome to 100 BPM and give it a shot. 1, 2, ready, and... So now with that challenge, if you felt yourself starting to tense up, it may have been just a little bit too fast. Just like anything else that is physical, as soon as you start tensing up, it becomes more difficult to do and you could potentially injure yourself. You want to make sure that you are staying relaxed as you play and that there is no tension in your arms, wrists, hands, or fingers. Just drop that metronome a little bit until you can play it nice and relaxed. Again, speed is not the end game here, it's consistency and accuracy. So now that you've had the chance to play through all of the exercises and the challenge, let's talk about incorporating the Ratamacue as part of your drum set playing. You rarely hear this actually happening, but if you want to be creative, you can incorporate it into a groove or a drum fill. This is the part of the lesson where you get to improve on your improvisational and musicianship skills. Now, although I want you to be creative, here are a few examples to get you started. So to recap, in this lesson you learned how to play the single Ratamacue. You then played through a few exercises that allowed you to incorporate it into your playing. The lesson wrapped up with showing you some examples on how to incorporate it into a groove or a drum fill on the drum kit. As always, if you have any questions on this rudiment, make sure you reach out to me on my website and I'll try and help out any way that I can. If you like this lesson, make sure you check out the Drum Essentials at nickcostamusic.com, where you can see other lessons just like it on all 40 rudiments from the Percussive Arts Society. There's also some additional lessons that go over technique fundamentals, as well as drum set fundamentals. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hopefully you've learned something from it, and until next time, see you later.